That's miles out. If that.
What do we have here? Group and timing bar.
Oh, hang on, what have we got round there?
Alright, so basically we thought we'd finish this job, but there was one shortcut, probably at my request. We don't need to do that, do we? So we've got to do the job again.
Renault life.
Renault life. Alright, so we got both cam covers off, the one money can't buy, the plastic one, and the top one. Now we're just going to check the timing.
The spark plugs are out.
Spark plugs are out.
Less training involved this time, isn't it? The dirty one, I think, was that one.
We will be locking up
Once it gets
the crank again.
Let me go to the crank.
This is the
Loading tool.
addition of the TDC indicator for under bonnet applications.
$18mm behind you.
Yeah, you got to get fully round because we're high tide, as you can
And
see.
then you've got to tell me when we're on the...
Stop there for a sec. Trying to work out if that's, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's,
It's about TDC there.
yeah, but it's the high tide side.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's parking, pushing, 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 coming up, pushing,
Yep,
in.
yep, there it is.
And I'll check both
Yeah,
directions.
you are locked in there.
Not
So
going
there's
that
our,
way, not going that way.
there's our crank
Leave it in there
locking,
for a second.
crank locking pin,
I'm going to do is
TDC indicator.
get my little marker again, make life easier. Put my marker there.
Just dial indicator. Now have a look at the back. These, that's definitely the low tide, yeah? What do you reckon that's?
Yeah, no, you're right. So there's more meat. The more
Yeah.
meat has to be on top side, less
Yeah.
meat on the bottom side. So we'll go round
So
one.
hang on, so I got to take the pin out.
Yeah, take pin out.
Alright, we're out.
When I come up this time, you need to put the pin back in.
Yep, stand by.
Ooh, I think I'm just about there.
Hang on.
ready? Pushing, pushing, pushing.
Yep. Alright.
Alright, now group in timing bar, which I brought out here earlier.
Yep, here it is.
Here it is. How far off is our settings? Looks pretty good.
Yep.
Am I the ban or what?
That has not moved.
That is reproduction.
Because when you're hearing some scary noises coming out of that dephaser,
you're thinking a lot of things.
You are thinking,
this is the first.
What am I going to find?
Where our tensioner's at. So our tension is, look at that. Tensioner is within a millimetre.
Okay, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I said, your tensioner should always be tensioned in the parked position.
Yeah, yeah. Gotcha.
And as you move the engine and the motor around, it will shift.
Yeah,
and it will shift with temperature as well.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So we have to lock this, yeah?
Yep.
To undo this?
Nah, to get that one undone, I'm going to cheat. Okay.
Yep.
But I'm not going to do it yet.
Okay.
Because remember, this is hydraulically adjusted with engine oil.
Yep.
So if I pop this cap off, which is nothing more than a sump plug, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a high pressure sump plug. So behind that is the same oil pressure that's at your crank.
Yeah.
Theoretically, right? So you don't want to pop it because then oil's just going to go down.
All over your
so
belt.
see your new belt?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've got a spare one in the inventory.
Yeah,
we don't need to spend our money on a new belt.
No.
But what I am going to do, and this is Luke's, and you would have seen me do it on the Frankenstein build.
Yep.
It is what I call the 45 or the 90-degree park. Okay? So what we're about to do is we'll turn it over again. Obviously, we'll take all these bungs out. So we know where TDC is, right?
Yep.
So I'll do BDC, which is bottom dead center.
Sure.
Okay? And which will bring it up to about there, which is a 76 mil stroke. So I could technically just go and grab my pencil, measure out 76 mil, halfway between that.
We can stick it in cylinder 2. That'll be...
No, cylinder 2's bottom dead center. So that's at bottom. So then we get that. Try and mark it in roughly the same spot. There. Grab our pen out. And so, roughly around here is what I call safe. So there you go, guys, safe.
Safe from valves,
smashing
meeting
so
pistons.
So if everything goes pear-shaped in your job and you end up somehow inadvertently turning your camshaft 180 degrees or 90 degrees or whatever you do, there is no possible way that you are going to put force on a valve on a piston.
Yep.
That I guarantee you. If you move it to the magic safe mark.
All right, you heard that, folks. Pro tip number 2 or 3.
Because, all right, so next we take out our perfectly timed group end time, if you can reproduce it after the engine's been run.
Yeah.
Done that, and our timing was right. Everything was squared away.
Yep.
All right, so crank bung out. So do this check for me. So now all we're going to do is everything safely positioned. I'm going to continue turning in the clockwise direction till we get to safe. All right, there I am at safe. Now that I'm at safe, what we're going to do is a couple of things. It means my cams are at safe. So next move is we're removing the belt. So removal is the opposite of installation. Alright, so now we're going to take this brand new belt off. So we're going to crack our tensioner, which we previously torqued up to specification. And then it'll say to turn in anti-clockwise direction with your 6mm kit we had earlier. Nothing's ever easy. Remember that it does, like when you tension it, it locks into the rear.
Yeah.
There we go, so we'll back that off. Happy days. Now, remembering that the process is this pulley goes on last when you're doing the job, and is torqued up to 50 Newton meters. that's a 16. I'll just put my
total tool socket.
Yep. And remember, this has also got the box hole there. See in your where you haven't taken your thing out from. If you were really stuck and you didn't have this, you could lower it down and you could put your socket through there.
Yeah.
In the more traditional sense.
Deja vu.
Well, no, not like that, because remember, we've still got to take the crank pulley. So now we're going to sacrifice our crank pulley.
Yep.
Remember, we're going to use the percussive force. So, if any of you want to get excited, don't worry. So what I'm going to do is zappity zap zap. Now what you're going to do, Mark, to prove to the punters, keep your eye on safe mode.
Yeah.
If it shifts from safe mode, yell. I'll be watching it from here, don't worry.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep. It's moving a little bit, but it's
moved about 1 degree.
Yep.
Down here at the crank.
Yep.
Okay.
There we go.
Right, man. Okay, so now we can get our belt off.
Yep.
Now, hang on. Guys, this is get a pen. I can't stress this enough. It's not often you reuse a belt. Take a yellow marker, a nice yellow line, and then write this way. Now that looks like I'm just weird, but it means that if I'm doing this job and I'm turning it over and I see the arrows going the wrong way to my direction and the this way is turned around like that, I'll put my belt on backwards. Not super critical in a brand spanking new belt, but best practice says mark it, do it. So again, but it is a 10.9 strength bolt, so it's fairly high strength, it's a very tight pitch. If we get it to torque up, that's it. But what we really want to achieve, it's the same thing that we want to achieve down there, is a lack of oil. Because oil is your enemy. Now you can see we've got a couple of the camshaft seal there. And some people would replace that camshaft seal right now. I don't argue with that. But I didn't bring one. But there is a very slight groove in this too. So there's a camshaft groove, a seal groove there. Yeah.
Can we tell if that's OEM, that part? Is that the rigid edge?
Oh yeah, I believe it is. See, it's marked with Renault, made by Aizen. But as I said, once it's out, you really can't decide whether it's any good or bad. Yeah. Standing there like that. Like this could be no better or worse than that. You cannot tell. The only way is to have them in the car.
So this is, the new one. Yep.
So see in the back there, it's going to be hard to spot. See down there, that's quite smooth. See on the other side, you got that shiny line.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your cam seal.
That's the cam seal.
Groove. Yep. So it's cut a groove into that. So if the cam seal's still pliable, which I think it is on this one, so we can do a little feel test. If I had a spare one at home, I'd use it, but I don't. Yeah. And I don't know what size it is. So all we're going to do is we're going to cover this with some cleaning agent, with some lubricant on the outside. I've got some, I think I've got the genuine stuff there, and then we're going to put it on like that. Now, before I do that, I'm going to grab, this is why I brought bucket hose plate clean, because the way this locks up is it relies on that, the friction between that and that. Okay. So that's where they say cleanliness, cleanliness, cleanliness. So even this, I'm going to give this a squirt, because it'll have a bit of assembly, like storage lubricant on it. Same way you clean your disc brake rotors up. Let that dry. And you've got these holes here, so they're going to continually ooze oil out. Alright, so that's that done. Yep. So now we do the reassembly. So what you want to do is set your cams, okay, with your cam timing, and then tighten that bolt.
Yep.
But remember, we're in safe mode.
Yep.
So I can turn those cams wherever I want.
Yep.
Okay, as long as they're in locked position as I bring my crank back up.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Okay,
yep.
if I turn them 16 times, it's never going to affect anything. But if I put the pistons at top dead center and start turning like a maniac,
yeah, you're going to have problems.
Run different. So this is you'll see me do the same thing in the Frankenstein build on Woody's car.
Yeah.
You know, some people would say, "Oh, it won't matter." Well, why do cams smash into valves? Because it matters. Then we're going to have to do this bottom pulley again. And we tighten that up. So there's no point just ignoring that when you've got the brake clean out. You're destroying your hands with brake clean. Grab that, repeat. Clean, 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 clean. Because it relies on friction. It relies on that surface pushing up hard against the other surface. Did you know what else it does?
What's that?
When it does punch up hard into there, it's also locking your oil pump.
Right.
So the oil pump sits on the crank directly behind this pulley.
So if that
slips, you lose oil pressure.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
you know, you'd get it airborne at the track, land hard, slip the timing belt, completely comes loose, and then you got no oil pressure. Anyway, that's another problem for another day.
So what do we got here? We've got the locking timing toolkit from
We're setting it up.
Facebook Marketplace, just setting it up for the right F4R out of a 182/172.
Yep, so part number G is your interchangeable part. So if you're doing a 225 or the other poverty packs, it's not, you use identical, but when you're doing an F4R with the dephaser, you use that one.
Nice.
Okay, so that gives that. Now the other things that they come with are these little spaces. So I've never used this kit. I think if we read the instructions, what we have to do remember. Oh, that's it. So it relies on that point there, so you're going to reuse that bolt, but you can see when you get that close it's too close, and then this one's going to come in underneath.
Right.
Oh, hang on, so that goes there, and then this goes in there. Oh no, maybe no, sorry, they both go. I think they both go in, because see this, you've got to get that gap right.
Yep.
There, and then when this one comes up onto there with your dephaser in,
yep,
because it punches out further, so you have to have that. So you take these two little spaces, put one on there, feed that on there, roll that up to there. That we've got this sitting just to that side of that.
Yep.
This one sitting here. Got these two spaces there. On the bottom, you then now use this. Oh, I think it's ever been used. It's never been used. This one. So clearly. So that then goes on there.
Right.
So that's the magic.
Yeah, that goes on the stud that's from the factory.
Yeah. It's meant to anyway. Not much lucky. Might have over tightened that. There you go. So that becomes your pivot. So that pivots on that. This one's going to lock. So again, because you're going to push away, you want to move that to that and that to that. Now, you cannot get this on here with that on. Okay, I knew it was going to happen, that's why. I just wanted to put it on there first,
yep,
demonstrate so it's easy to see everything lining up.
Yep.
That's on the edge of its margins. Sorry, this way. Once we feed that back over and in, it'll be in there like that. Oh, that's right. Now I remember why. The reason you have to space it is because of that profile there. I couldn't remember, but that profile sticks out, so it would touch on there.
Oh, on the tool. That's
on
why
the tool.
That's why,
you have these two little spaces there and there. If you had the non-dephaser, you don't use the spaces.
Yep.
So if you were doing this on a 225, for example, which is where it's more critical, because the 225 has a fixed crankshaft with a keyway in it. So these have to be spot on. If you need to make changes to your cam timing, you have to do it at these two items. So you're more likely in normal day-to-day cam changing to need to use this tool, that tool on a car. That's why we didn't use it last time.
Right.
But if you were doing a 225, or if you really wanted to aggravate yourself and put a fixed timing, a fixed keyway pulley from a 225 on the bottom of this motor, you're going to have to adjust all of this stuff.
Yep.
It's not going to be an easy job. So that's why you pay for 6, 7, 8 hours labour at the dealership to have them do this job. If they don't have to, if they can put your belt on, not change your dephaser, they don't have to get any of this out.
Yeah.
On a 225, it's literally do what we did in the last video, slap it on, or what we did when we recorded it earlier. You slap it all on. These are all in time. That just needs to be turned. Bob's your uncle.
Which is what we were hoping for, but didn't work out.
Didn't work out that way.
Alright, next day. So, what do we got there? A guide pulley, or is that tensioner?
That's the guide pulley, the
guide.
last one you put on before you set
the timing.
Yeah, I'll put that on like that, snug that. Doesn't need to be tight. Then you take your mirror, swing around your tensioner.
The new dephaser is on.
New dephaser's positioned.
Positioned.
Yes. It's not on, it's just positioned. This goes back in like that.
Got the spacer, got the bolts.
The other spacer's down the bottom where it's meant to be.
So this is a kit that
this is what there was a guy came up this morning. He's doing a 197, same thing. He's trying to get the camshaft out, but can't get the camshaft out because he's still got this pulley on.
Right.
His cam cover can't get it out. He's like, how do I get this out? The reality is he needed this tool to basically hold it, or he could have tried using that tool, which I've done in the past, but it's not very successful.
Yeah.
But I reckon the most successful way to get it out, if you had to, is if I had to do that now, I'd just jack the engine up, put the rattle gun on it, dacker it,
just use the
percussive force
to
shift it
free.
What we do, there's all our centralised locket. If you have a look down there, that one's now locking the bottom side of this. This one's now locking this one.
Yep.
Some guys like to jam one in there. It's not recommended. That's not how it's meant to work. So I have to nip these two. Now when I do nip it, I always, because you're going to push that force that way and that like that, I always make sure I push it that way and lock. So I go push and then lock. Then you roll this one up in and lock that.
Yeah, right.
It's like a little sequence because stuff will shift.
So quick off-camera discussion. If this doesn't fix it, if it's a hydraulic lifter or something, the follower.
Fucking that's it. It's sold that way.
So, it's getting busy.
Okay, I'm happy with that. We just do the 50s on this. In place, camshaft on.
Nipped up.
Nipped up. Now we're going to put this one in, and if you have a look, you're going to make sure it clears that little guide there, which we're doing. See there? Where your fingers are in to stop the belt flying off.
Yep.
So that's clearing that. And then you need to check this gap here. So see there, we've got nothing touching our pulley. And then you come in, you tighten that, and tighten that. Now, if you go and grab the instructions, it'll tell us what we want to torque these to. But you have to hold the back while you torque the front. That was one of the other challenges. A good amount. Should be a good amount. Okay, so we're going to hold the while it's loose, push against it. That is about 80 Newton meters.
80 Newton meters according to the elbow.
So now we get this one in on the bottom side there.
Yep.
So I've done this, I've done that. Just back this off so you can see it just sort of slots in. Just snug it up. And at the same time, you don't want to move it, but you want to like force it out. Because if I move this, see it moves the pulley.
Yeah, right.
So you don't want to end up with too much tension on it. There. So the good thing is as you tighten it, I can't remember which way it's going to move, but yeah, whenever you think you got this tight enough,
it's not tight enough.
It's never tight enough. Okay. That's tension, that's lock. Now the other thing the instructions are going to tell you to do is pull
the
setting bar out.
Yep.
Well, that's not what I do.
It's only telling me 25 here. Oh, that's for the outer nut, is it?
Well,
it says 25. Can't be right. What am I missing here? Sorry, then on this it says, yeah, 100. So 100
Newton meters. That's the one.
That's
26.
The one. Yeah. So
Yep.
what's that?
25 is the cap.
Ah, the cap. Yeah, of course. Yep.
Second time today. So that's my nut. So as you can see, the nut is loose.
Yep.
I've lubricated the back of it so that it slides without trying to turn everything.
Yep. Because
the clampage you want is between this and the other pulley. That's it. 108.
108. So adjuster's coming off now.
Attention, that's the locking tool coming off. That one. And don't forget to take this one off or you'll smash your thing. So that way it dissolves, 515 Loctite.
Yep.
So some people like be silly enough to put Celastic on it.
So you're saying this one does dissolve, yeah?
Yeah, it'll dissolve in the oil. So if a bit of it carries inside your timing cover, inside the dephaser, you're not going to end up with, if someone puts silicone on it,
could block something.
It'll block, a lump could break away later on. With this, put it on the threads, put it in there. Really want it on the threads. It's just because you are meant to replace the thing just because of the fact it's got this little seal on it.
Yep.
But you just don't want to introduce an oil leak. That's it. just do that.
So we're saying because it's only torqued to
25 newton.
25.
Yeah, it's not
going to turn it.
No, not drastically. 25 newtons in the scheme of things is just my elbow really, but I'll put the tool on it anyway. Video, so I put it in that slot like that.
Yep.
Holding this. We've got this tension, but I'm going to release the tension again on my tensioner.
Right.
Just because I've just snugged it.
So we can rotate the
Yeah, so we're not trying to fight against it. Reverse that out. Give it a little tap. There you go.
There you go. Oh.
It just sort of locks on the rear.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's reversed, that's reversed. That's our tension guide there. We've got that in there. So you grab the pin.
Yep.
Over there. Doesn't matter which way. I'm going to have to drop this motor first. Just 2 secs. And the other stuff that I did, as you saw, I didn't replace the seal on the camshaft because it wasn't leaking.
Yep.
But Dayco make this. It's oil seal pre-assembly lubrication. I don't know what the hell they put in it, but I always end up with little tubes of it.
Yep.
So I smeared that all over the outside before I popped it in.
Right, okay.
So that's a Bitron seal, so it's a fairly good quality seal. So it's not like, and it wasn't too hard, so it wasn't like we needed to get rid of it. But just to make sure everything settles in nicely, I put a bit of their magic stuff on there to the surface where the seal will run.
Yeah, right.
So it'll have oil from one side, a bit of lube from the other. I think that's all it is. It's just to stop dry seals wearing prematurely.
Yep.
And it settles it in.
Extend the life.
Extend their life, the dramas. All right. Now turning this crank with my
timing bar is in.
So I get 2 larger nuts to spacer it off.
Yep. So you're not affecting the stretch, or
well, yeah. So I'm only turning the crank.
Yep.
And the pulley behind it that slips can move, can stay fixed.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Okay, because we've still got our timing bar set.
Yep. Yep.
Now you wouldn't normally need to do that, except we position this thing into its
safe position.
Safe position. Now we need to get it out of safe position. And I'll have to turn clockwise because it's not going to come any other way. Where's our 18 again? Okay, you ready?
Yep. Getting in position.
You watching it?
Yeah, you're about to hit.
Getting close.
You're about to hit bottom.
Oh, yeah, keep coming up.
Now you're going up. Hang on. Okay. Keep going. Yep.
Is that you?
Yeah, that was me.
Hang on, let me just do the backwards maneuver. No,
Right.
Too far, so I'll keep going forward again.
Yep, go forward. Slow, slow, slow. Yep, keep going.
That's it.
Yep.
Let me just check reverse. Yep, that's it.
You got it? So forward, back.
That's
Yep.
it. And what we meant to torque that up to, the snugging before you set it is 40, I think.
Ah, yeah, yep. Yeah, 40, then 110.
And the other thing I'll do before I snug it is set this tensioner lightly. Snug that up. I know roughly, so I'll just bring it round first. This is where the up down is easier.
Yeah.
You know, like when you're on a proper 4-post, 2-post hoist, it's easy to do. It's easier just to drop the hoist a little bit. give you a bit more play rather than have to jack a jack.
This is tensioner setting using the mirror.
We'll bring that round. And bing, we're right on the money. Again, it says 7 Newton meters. I'm just going to give it a quick nip. And again, this isn't the end of the nipping. This is just the prelim.
Yeah.
Because we're going to get back in here shortly. We're going to turn it because when you settle your belt after two full revolutions, it's going to change that setting. So you're just going to have to. That's enough. There we go. All right. Bottom crank bolt. We've got to do that up to 40 Newton meters.
Yep.
The lights. See, they get the first light. We're at 19. Bring it in. I think it was there then. There you go. It beeped at me. So we got to 44 newtons. All right. Let's pull our setting bars.
So we. Alright.
No compression.
Crank pin out. Plugs are out. So yeah, no compression. There's your little
bar out. It's just there. Yep, you got it. Beautiful.
Yep.
That works out nicely. There's no damage. So
Yeah.
we'll show the fans that. No damage on this thing.
no damage on there, importantly.
No. So you watch the stick, safety stick, go up and down.
Yep.
I'll turn it. Now you just, first thing we want to make sure is that it doesn't rise. So there's a stick in.
The stick is in, top dead center.
And see that?
It's going up, so we didn't have top dead center.
No, we failed.
Yep.
All right.
Right.
Put the
Pin in.
Oh no, now I've got to go backwards. Hang on a second, dude.
Yeah, we got one of the classic Renault fake holes.
Yep. Fake hole. Even with our stick, it still screwed us up.
So, timing bar back in.
Look at that. How's that? Too far?
Hang on. No,
Good. Spot on.
it's in.
Okay. So I've got to go in reverse. Right, to break that 40 newtons that we incorrectly
Yeah,
set.
yep, right.
Just hold that there.
Yep.
Look at that. Just pushes in. Comes up like that.
Oh, yep,
We're almost in the level.
final.
And we bring it across, and then you get a bit hung up there. See if we got any more lift on our jack
More
there,
lift.
mate.
Oh, we're maxed out, mate.
Maxed out. Okay, that's all right.
Doing things to radiators.
And some radiators empty. Come up a bit higher, I think, is the trick. No, not you. Me. Just like that.
Top timing cover about to go on.
Yeah, see, it's an F4R 738. I think if you punch in part number 7701 723397, that's the whole motor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've got a part number for the whole motor.
Can you still get a crate motor from Renault? Or
No, I think the last of them have gone. I know that Pure had them for a little while. You had a couple left over.
Yep.
Gotten rid of them. I imagine, like, here in Australia, it's different to over there. Like, you know, you'll have different dealers that might have stuff on the shelf and they interchange it and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But over there, sure, it's not hard for the dealers to return it to the warehouse.
Yeah.
Like the actual Renault warehouse.
Yeah.
Is that right? See, that's an example of why I say fit them all and then tighten them up. Don't
alternator bracket going back in.
You want to do that thing.
Line.
Make sure you clip it in. That stupid little clippy house. And that little clippy house there. Now, remembering we've probably got this thing a bit too high for now. You don't want your tension to fly off. Like that thing to pop off, then you'll have a big failure.
Yeah.
So that sort of keeps the whole rubber in there, and then when you crush it up, it puts the cross tube up against that other. C12. That's got a bit of movement, so I'm happy with that.
Excellent.
Where's our small socketry?
So sorting out the tensioner. Alternator brackets back on. Little periphery pieces like an engine lift point. Locking that. Tight. Make sure it's tight.
So even if it's not connected, like not fully finished,
yep,
which I think we will fully finish it this time. Let's round that. Goes over that one and up to the front there. This is going down there. And the water pump. Okay.
So tensioner is held up. We've got the accessory belt, just keeping a bit of tension on it. Alternators about to
go in for the 16,000
yeah.
Well, the belt's on.
Yeah, now just got to wrangle it into position.
Okay, that's snugged. Which means now it'll go into that hole there with a little bit of tension. Now that's 16, that's 13. So 16 goes down in there. Through. That'll do. Get that
beautiful.
A little bit loose. And if everything's right, this should just when you do that, just make sure you've got that home. And herein lies my issue with this method.
Yeah, you got to put a lot of tension now on there.
But what I can do is I can still detension the tensioner slightly more because we've got the belt over.
Yeah.
But now I have to jack the thing up again. Right. So with that like that, I can detension it some more. See, there's no tension on it now.
Yeah, right.
Now it's come up a bit higher.
Must be close.
Okay, so because this belt was too short for the diameters of the pulleys that was fitted to this model engine, which is a 738. It's not a 73032 or 36, it's a 738. It's the fourth evolution of the 182 172 F4R. It's a 182 motor. So it's a 738. For some reason, you just can't put the belt straight over. We had a 1660, we took off a 1662. So what you do to feed it all on is you release this top nut, you feed your alternator back, you put your belt on, you put your tensioner on, you take up the tensioner, then you roll your alternator in, and then you put the bolt through to hold the alternator on. The problem is you must release the tension out of that nut, which is the top of your tensioner. You must release the tension out of that nut and the tension out of that nut, and also the tension out of this nut. So 1, 2, 3, 4 all have to be loose.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not going to be able to feed that in and feed your bolt through to put this 13mm on, which holds all that assembly there.
So there's.
So now that we've done that, this is what I think the correct process is. Grab your 13 and snug this one up, which is holds the intake manifold on and this bracket on. That's in. Then take your 16, anchor the timing cover. Remember that the timing cover has to be, this is a timing cover bolt that goes through this bracket that holds this alternator. There, take that. So that's on. This is through, the nuts on the back. The 16's still not tight. I'm going to tighten that 16 now. Actually, I'll tighten this 13 a little bit more. Snug that up. In 16, put it on there and it won't slip. So that, now that's done, I've still got to tighten up the final nut tensioner on the top of this. Remembering all the load for your tension is currently under that bolt. That's why this is a ridiculous design, because you shouldn't have to release this nut to get that bolt through, because you shouldn't have to follow this procedure. It's a 738 motor. No one with a 736 or 732 would believe that you'd have to go to this amount to get your alternator auxiliary belt on.
Done.
No.
No, still got to clip the...
Now we clip this nonsense back in again for the 16th time. Down there, that's in there. Okay, that's in. That still didn't go into its little clippy. There's a bolt that goes through there. That's clipped in. The fuel rail's in. These accessories will go on. That's secured. Jacket, tilt it, drop it. Then once it's dropped, that's when you've got to fix the positioning of the whole engine.
Right.
Otherwise you'll end up, because you've got those 3 bolts loose on the other side. try and line up these bolts, which were previously set up over here, right? On this bottom engine mount. Engine steady back on.
Yep.
So that can wiggle that engine around. Yeah, I think that's right. That's it.
Manifold gasket.
Right, you grab the manifold, I'll feed the spark plugs on, the leads on, or you hold it.
Manifold cam. Yep.
Or is it that way? No, I think it does come under. Go and buy a BA Falcon.
Yeah. What was that? Having a fuel dripping out there? No.
No fuel leaks.
Right, okay, we go. Cranking.
Hang on. See, that sounds like starter motor.
That does sound like starter motor.
Let me give you some ignition, hey? There you go. Try a bit of ignition. That always,
ignition.
bit of ignition always helps. Hang on, let me get clear of this. Go.
Alright.
Yep.
Fire in the hole. We'll give this a little rev.
No lights on the dash?
No lights on the dash. Can you believe that?
Just lift it up to 3,000 and see if you can hold it.
Calling that fixed.
I'm not calling it fixed yet. Sorry.
I don't know. So sound's still there. We're thinking it might be the VVTI valve now, so that's going to get swapped out, and we're going to try and rule that one out. Alright, so just before we embark on this mission, we're just going to try and disconnect the actuator essentially to the dephaser.
Fault code, there you go. Disconnect.
See if it just
Well, if I start telling you to stop, it'll be because the oil net's got too expensive.
yeah,
Right?
okay. Firing.
Okay.
Go.
Yep.
Do you want me to see if I can make it happen?
Yeah, I go for it. It's been rested. It should do it straight away, shouldn't it?
Yep. Well, it's not doing it. I'm just going to try it again.
Hang on, I'll plug it back in. We'll see if it does it. Turn the ignition completely off.
It's off.
Try it again. There's no oil coming out really. Do it again. Turn it off. Key out.
Yep.
Try it again.
Firing. No more questions, Your Honour. So back at Renault Australia, Clio HQ, pulling out the, what do you call it, the VVTI sensor?
The dephaser solenoid.
Dephaser solenoid. That's the puppy there, eh?
Oh yeah, the seal goes into the top.
Right, okay.
So now we'll go into engine. Accepts that. Then we go read data stream. This is what you need. So this is part of the diagnosis. Camshaft offset control, which is basically activation of the dephaser. Let's start the engine up. The old noise. Okay, so we've got engine RPM. We've got a computer supplying 14.5 volts at the start of the alternator. Air temp still hovering. Camshaft control bimodal. So these are the two things we want to look at. So we're going to make some noise.
Yep.
You ready?
Yep.
Okay, they'll go for the 2,000 RPM start.
Okay,
Yeah, so we want it to swift to active, right?
Yep, yep, do it. Yep, active. Yeah, active, yep.
Then does it go inactive?
It's inactive now, yeah.
Yeah, so it goes active then inactive.
Active. As soon as it comes on, we get that problem. All right.
We've proven it, we've shown it, we've tested it. Oh, let's have a look at these spark plugs first. So that's, look at that. I would call that a minter.
Mint.
Look at that. You can see
Yep.
the ceramic, the tip's not dirty, there's a nice pattern there. That is beautiful.
Mint. What cylinder was that?
That's cylinder number 1 on an F4R, which is cylinder number 4 in the rest of the world.
Classic Renault.
Here's cylinder number 2/3, whatever you like to call it. Identical.
Beautiful.
Here's other cylinder 3/2, whatever you like to call it. Mint. Absolutely textbook spark plug.
So certainly no ignition problem.
Yep, no ignition lead issues, no wasted spark. It didn't misfire once. Another beautiful. That is just textbook.
Moment of truth.
Okay.
Hey, look at that. Oh no, that's too close to the edge, isn't it? Go back a bit.
Okay, oh look, we can see it. See those?
Yeah.
They're your eyebrow cutouts on your piston.
Yeah, so they're meant to be there.
They're meant to be there. That's what gives you the clearance.
Yeah.
Right? So if they were touching, we'd see shiny shit. You see how much shiny, right? So this is what I say, their eyebrow. This is why I didn't believe it. Like I had to, you know, we have to do the exercise. And then,
that's two.
yeah, okay, so there's your other two.
Yep.
There and there. That's your exhaust side because they're not quite as big. If we swing it back around there and then have a look, we should be now looking at the other two eyebrows. Do you concur? So see it's got that number 5 in between.
Yep.
Okay, so you can see that number 5.
So they're the exhaust eyebrows?
No, I think they're the intake.
Okay, intake, yeah.
And then if I turn this way, 180 degrees.
Yep, exhaust ones, exhaust eyebrows.
Yeah, and there's that shiny bit in between, but the valve can't touch there.
Yeah,
okay. There's the number 05, which is probably the year of manufacture. That's how clean these heads are.
Yeah.
Right, we're reading part numbers of pistons.
134,000 kilometre
motor.
Yeah.
There's a bit of shininess, that's oil.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at 2 eyebrows there.
Yep.
And the B, and see that little arrow?
Yep.
Right, see that arrow? So arrows point to the front, towards number 1 cylinder.
Yeah.
But when you build one of these motors, it's backwards.
Right.
Because number 1 is backwards. Yeah, you know, like look at that. I'm definitely on intake valves there. They are eyebrow. There's nothing special about the eyebrowing on this motor.
Yeah.
And like you just need a little bit of oil to give it a funny look. Well, we're hearing a noise, but the noise isn't contact.
Yeah.
That's what I'm prepared to say.
Yeah.
And I never thought it was going to be contact, right? But if you've got a bore scope and a noise,
rule it out. So let's rotate one more time to check 3, yeah?
Yeah. Let's rotate the engine.
I think we should start selling those on the channel.
We should, yeah. Get your top dead centre stick.
Pre-cut, pre-measured with the safe zone.
With the safe zone, that's it. Luke's safe position. There's the 2.
That's mint condition. So they're the intake valves, or the eyebrows for the intake valves.
I believe they are.
There is nothing there.
There's nothing on that one. It's got the number between it, and then you can see, if I want to prove it, you can see that little arrow.
Yeah, right.
If you're happy, did you see the arrow in the picture?
Yeah, got all that.
Hang on, let me just go. Alright. And there's nothing on that. There is no clipping there.
There is no
clippage.
clipping.
I've seen clippage.
Yep.
Clippage, no. Here, there's no clippage. There's the B, there's the arrow. Suit yourself. Is there clippage?
No.
No clippage.
No clippage.
There is no clippage.
There is no clippage. All right, what's a huge relief?
Debacle.
There is no...
There's no piston touching valve.
Yep, that's
there
right.
There is a
not
very
even,
terrible noise.
Not even a gentle high five. There's nothing going on.
And like I said to you, I think back in the beginning we tried to rule this out. And I said, these things, these motors, they just don't touch.
Yeah.
They fail. There's no little bit of touching.
It's binary.
It's binary, exactly. It's either broken, it's a 1 or a 0. There is no in between.
Everyone knows Renault has 2 modes.
Yeah, broken or not.
And currently we're not in
phase 1, phase broken or phase not broken.
Yeah.
But anyway, we proved it.
Yeah, proved it. Yeah,
proved
no,
so there's no point unbolting that head to check the underside of the head.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the pistons inside, you know. But geez, they're clean, aren't they?
The bore, the pistons.
The pistons are clean. Like that was that good fuel and a good hard run yesterday. I reckon really helped.
The noise is still there, so there's something. So what would be, you know, the next step to take this off and inspect?
No, next is oil. We got to do an oil pressure test.
Okay. Yep.
That's got to be. Well, okay, we can do it 2 ways. We can surmise that the oil pressure is the problem, and this is exacerbated by the activation of the dephaser, which then takes oil pressure away from this. So there's an oil pressure circuit runs through your motor, right? And pretty much it finishes at the top of the motor.
Yep.
Right. So it's taking oil pressure there and bypassing it back into your dephaser. So your dephaser relies on that energy to move the dephaser forward.
So it's robbing,
while it's robbing that pressure.
It's robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we could do a whole pull down, or we could just drop this oil out.
Yeah.
Test some 1550.
Sorts
see if that shuts it up.
Yeah.
You know, let's remember, we are here in Australia. Winter in Australia. What do you reckon? Coldest morning we're going to get here in Brisbane.
No.
Middle of winter.
Look, it'll be single digits, but, you know, it's not going to be... Yeah, that sort of temperature.
5 degrees.
Yeah.
And timing stays at this stage.
Yep, that's right.
At this stage, we're not
going to try thicker oil.
Thicker oil. I think you just dump the Ceratec, salvage it.
Yep.
Salvage the good oil, the 540.
Yep.
We've got plenty of Renaults that'll use it.
Yep.
Doesn't need to go to waste.
No, that's it.
And then try 1540. I'll check what Penrite specs are. I'll check what the manufacturers, but I'm pretty safe in saying you can whack a 1040 in them.
It's a cheap
It's a
test.
cheap test.
Yeah.
Like versus hours spent disassembling to maybe see a problem.
Yeah, yeah.